All right, here we are, January 10th, 2026. It's a Saturday, and I have had some really, I actually have a couple of great connection stories from yesterday. That would be January 9th. See, that happens. The 9th comes before the 10th. Um, so I'm going to record them separately because the first one, the first, you know, first of all, welcome to the podcast. Again, I'm not talking to anybody but my creative partner Janine. But uh, I'm gonna take on some vibe from my good friend Tom Hyatt, who we used to play around with the idea of a podcast, and we we would get on and start recording and having some fun with it. And he would always say, "Okay, 1 million listeners," and so I'll just say that. Let's just manifest that we're going to get 1 million listeners. Because if that were true and we actually got 1 million listeners, that'd be a lot of people connecting one meal at a time, which that's not a bad thing. Connecting one meal at a time, 1 million people, that means they're connecting with themselves or others. So let's just say each of them connect with one other person. That's 2 million people. So that's pretty great. That's a pretty great way to start. I want to say healing the world. I don't know if healing is the right word, but definitely encouraging, inspiring the world to live each day through connection and noticing extraordinary, ordinary moments, noticing the power of choice that they have to see the possibility in life rather than the sadness and the not that we don't need to notice the sadness and the tough things, but I do think all we can control is the power of choice. So this podcast again is dedicated to a very simple concept of connecting one meal at a time, meaning let's use food as a universal love language to bring us together. So with that said, my story yesterday all starts with sourdough starter. And my daughter Avery, I think, was on day 4 or 5 of creating this sourdough starter, which I have tried. Can I just say I've tried the last 4 or 5 months. I've tried it maybe 3 times, 4 times. Never has worked. So anyway, she's having good success with it. So right there, she's either following the rules, which I didn't do, or she's got a better YouTube mentor on how to do this. But anyway, it's working. So yesterday we were thinking like, oh, it's going to be, we're going to want to make bread soon, sourdough bread. Why don't we run to Marshall's, which is a department store here in the States that just has a bunch of more discounted, high quality stuff. So we're like, let's go get like a La Creuset or a Lodge cast iron Dutch oven to cook the bread in when we're ready, when the starter's ready. So we jump in the car and we're heading to Marshall's, and all of a sudden the car starts like kind of sputtering as it's going like, and it's just not right. Like something's not right. So we pull over and we happen to be in front of a Toyota dealer. And so I just call them because I'm like, let's not turn it off. Like it wasn't stopping yet, but it wasn't running well at all. And I called the Toyota dealer and I asked for service, and I talked to the service manager, and I was like, I know you're Toyota, but we're a Kia. We have a Kia Soul. Any way you can help us? We're right outside. He's like, no, I'm so sorry. He was so kind. He said, I'm so sorry, but we only can work on Toyotas. So I said, well, do you recommend anybody in the area? Because we don't know where to go. And he's like, yeah, actually, go over to the guys, because they are guys. But he said, go over to the guys at Fresh Pond, Mobile Station in Fresh Pond. He said, they're great. And we're like, whoa, okay, how far is that? And he's like, oh, it's probably like 15 minutes. So we drove over there. And, well, first I called and I said, explained what was happening. He's like, come on in. We'll take a look at it. So again, just kindness. Like, okay. So we ran over, drove over there. As soon as we got there, he's like, yeah. And we showed him the engine light that had come on. He goes, was it blinking? I said, yes. He's like, I think I know what it is. Because I think we can do it like in an hour and a half if you just want to go hang out. And I was like, wow, okay. This was a Friday at like 4:30 in the afternoon. So it's like, really? And he seemed really, really busy. There were tons of people waiting. He's like, no, we got you. So it was great. So and the neighbor's like, "Hey, there's like a TJ Maxx slash Home Goods right around like 10-minute walk from the place." So we ended up going there and just having a good time walking around. We did find the Dutch oven, but then we're like, "Oh, are we gonna carry this back now, or we'll come get it another time?" And so that was fun, and we were just looking at all the possible things. We started talking about Sojo Farm. So it's just this precious moment of, like, again, all started with the idea of food and bread, and then we ended up in this crazy story of getting the car fixed with these kindness of strangers. And then we end up at TJ Maxx slash Home Goods, and we're talking about food. We start talking about Sojo Farm. We start looking for stuff on the farm. We start brainstorming like, "Ooh, this would be great on the farm, or these would be cool containers for things in the kitchen at the farm." And she's like, "Oh, this is my dream, is to help you, like, with all the things we need from the farm, especially food related." So it was just fantastic. And so we still had more time, and so food saved us again. We looked across the street. We saw a sushi place, and we're like, "Sushi, that's a great thing to do." Um, because we could just, let's have some miso soup, and then because it was cold. Um, and then we can order a roll and chat, and then order another roll, and by that time, hopefully, um, our car will be ready. And so he actually called in a half hour, and he said, "Yep, we know exactly what it is. Here are the prices," which I thought were very reasonable. And he's like, "If you just give us till 6 o'clock, we can do this." And I was like, "Great." So we, again, we just went and had sushi. When we got to the sushi place, well, I don't know if she's the owner of the place or just a really, really fantastic employee. She was delightful, like, just, like, humming to herself and like, "Hey, how are you?" We were the only ones sitting in the restaurant, but lots of people were coming in for pickup, so we was like, "This is probably pretty good." And so Avery and I tried a new, it was kinda cool. It had a lot of vegetarian and unique vegetarian sushi rolls. So we tried this really cool one. Well, it was cool because it's actually called the smooth roll. The smooth roll. What a cool name. But it was like tempura, like a tempura sweet potato, and then it had avocado and cream cheese. Come on. That's a good maki roll right there. So we had soup, and then we ordered that roll. We ordered a California roll just because that's a classic. And she was just so great, our server. And I don't know how to describe it, but Avery and I both were just like, "Well, that's just how to be in the world." Like, we got to notice, and we were saying that, like, and we actually said during the meal, like, we wouldn't be having sushi at this place, which we're now gonna come back to because the food was great and they were great. And so we were just saying, and so we have this saying, I've always had this saying with the girls of just, well, actually, I learned it from my friend, but this idea of just, well, that happened. And so Avery and I literally talked about that. Like, so we set off, sourdough starter got us on the road to go buy a Dutch oven. The car breaks down. We end up at a sushi place with this really wonderful experience and a time to connect with other people and with ourselves and with each other. And we're like, well, that happened. And that's just, when something crazy happens in life that throws off, like, she was supposed to head out to her boyfriend's house later. I was needed to get to dinner by 7. And we were wondering at dinner, like, will any of those things happen beyond our control? We decided, like, so we had the power to choose that we were going to be present, have a really nice meal with this lovely server. And so that was our experience. We said that happened, and we're making the most of it and finding connection throughout our evening. It was just so lovely. We went back. He called, actually, and it was even before 6 o'clock. He said, "We're ready." And we were already on our way back. Oh, we went to Trader Joe's, more food, more food, more food. But it was right there. So we did a little shopping. We came back into the place, the car repair place, and he saw that we had groceries in our hand. He's like, "Oh, come on, just put them in the back of your car. It's not quite ready, but it'll be ready in like 5 minutes." And so again, kindness, right? Like just just kindness. People on a Friday night, and it was ready in 5 minutes. It was reasonably priced for all the work they did. And I just told them, I said, "You have a big fan over at Toyota who recommended you." And then he's like, "Oh, that must be so and so." And he's like, "Yeah, we refer to each other." And I said, "Well, we're going to be back because you guys are great. You took us in. You fixed it quickly. We're both going to be able to meet our deadlines for tonight." I still made my 7 o'clock dinner with a shower beforehand. And Avery made her way up to New Hampshire. So just incredible story. Was food the reason why we connected with people at the car place? And yeah, I mean, it was the thing that prompted it, I guess. Yeah. So it really is just the noticing. Obviously, that's the most important part, is noticing and naming the power of choice we had to tell the story we wanted to tell ourselves. The but food was the catalyst, and they were moments, it was the talisman, right? The thing that started us on our journey, the thing that we bonded over at TJ Maxx slash Home Goods, the thing that the time we got to sit and have some food and sushi and good conversation. So that was it. It was fantastic. And so that's my story of connecting one meal at a time. Food is the universal love language, I think. And so that's that. So we're going to start this thing on the podcast, this thing. We're inviting other people to call in to share their stories. So we've set up a Google Voice number, and we're hoping people will call in and just tell their story of connecting one meal at a time. They may be connecting with themselves through food or a meal, or they may be connecting with others. It may be very small story. It may be big. Doesn't matter. It's just connection. So our Google Voice number is area code 804 620 7656. So it's 804 620 7656. And just a quick story, Google Voice number, I chose an area code that's in Virginia, which will be the same area code at the farm, Sojo Farm, when that all comes together later later this spring. And so 804 and then 620 doesn't have any meaning, but 7656 is Sojo, Sojo. So once again, inviting anyone to call in to share a story of connecting one meal at a time at 804 620 Sojo. And that's it for now. I hope everyone has an extraordinary, ordinary day. Thanks.